$300 billion across the U.S. only. Right. Son of a gun, that's fantastic.
That's 2006 figures. I'm sure it's going to be going up again in 2007. But so many ways that we contribute make such a huge difference in the way our lifestyles are. Our health care is better, our children get fed, our schools are better, we can respond to emergencies like Katrina because of the generosity of people in our country.
Okay. Golly, Greg, that is fantastic. I don't think I had any idea the numbers were that extensive, but you point out, and I know there's so many folks that give even more than that average when you think about all the different groups that will possibly contact you about doing things. And that's wonderful. And, of course, another big one is volunteer time.
Oh, yeah.
Folks find a way to give their time, much like what you all are doing, obviously all the non-paid, to get out there and to try to promote other fundraising, other philanthropists. But let's break down National Philanthropy Day, the one you all are planning. The date, you all have set a date.
November 15th, which will be the same date that's recognized in all AFT chapters across the country.
Great.
We're going to have it at the Horry Georgetown Technical College's Community Center.
Great. Very easy to find.
Very easy to find.
Oh, yeah.
The 15th, that's a Thursday, it'll be 12 to 1:30.
Okay.
And we would love to have people who are interested in philanthropy or tied into nonprofits in some way come join us for that day. It'll be a special day.
Fantastic. Are there sponsorship opportunities available, Greg? Does anyone, if a viewer's watching, is associated with a company that may be interested in possibly being a part of that day, or there's some different sponsorship levels?
Well, thank you for asking, Greg. Yes, we do have two major sponsorship levels. One is called our Heart of Platinum sponsorship level, and that's $5,000.
Okay.
That'll be our primary sponsor, and will certainly be given recognition for the good works that they're doing there. Then we have our Heart of Gold sponsor, and that's $2,500.
Okay.
And we can have as many of those as people would like to give.
Good. So there'll be one Heart of Platinum.
One Heart of
Platinum. But there can be multiple Heart of Gold. Great.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, and we'll have table sponsors. Table of 8 will be $240, or you can just buy individual tickets for $30.
Great. So $30 if a viewer possibly wanted to get out there. And, of course, we want to break down how it works locally. We got about 10 minutes, Greg, and I want to make sure viewers know what they can expect if they got out there to the community center there on Thursday, November 15th. But $30 for an individual. And you all will be selling not just couples, but individuals can come out.
Oh, yeah. Individuals come out. It is such a wonderful time for nonprofits who said, what a great time to honor my board member. Let's take that board member, or let's take our bigger donors and come out and show them what's going on in our community.
That's a great point. Say that again. That's a great point for someone who's watching who works in the nonprofit world to thank some of their active volunteers, to thank some of their active donors, to remind them that there's a lot of folks just like them out in the community making a difference every day.
Most of our members in our local chapter are planning on buying a table of 8 and then bringing their donors and their board members who have given so unselfishly to them.
That's a great idea.
Good chance to say thank you to them.
Yeah, particularly for something as reasonable as that, and the tie-in with Horry Georgetown Technical College and their tremendous culinary arts department. I don't know if they're involved, but being in that same facility there right next door, just knowing there could be an interface is a positive thing as well.
Well, Sandra's helped us with that.
Oh, yeah.
And she's touching all parts of the college over there to help make this a reality for us.
That's great.
We've been real fortunate.
Let's break down the day. If a viewer does possibly attend, or if they can't make it, what are they missing? If they're not in town on Thursday, November 15th, what do they need to make sure and get on their calendar for 2008?
You're exactly right. Well, we're going to give 3 different classifications. We're going to give a corporate fundraiser of the year, a corporate philanthropist of the year.
Corporate philanthropist of the year.
An individual philanthropist of the year, and a student philanthropist of the year.
A student philanthropist, wow.
And what we plan to do, in addition to the usual plaques and trophies, we're going to give each of them a check for $500 made out to the charity of their choice.
Great.
So they, even in winning their award, they keep on giving.
That is tremendous.
We hope to do that. We hope to bring in well-known guest speakers for this, get the community involved in the presentation, and try to do it upright. Try to recognize these people and these corporations for their good works, which they richly deserve, and encourage the rest of us to follow that lead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 2.5 months, you've essentially got about 10 weeks to keep planning, and a lot that has to happen over the 10 weeks. And as you said, locking down some of the speakers, making sure everyone's represented there. And you said they will actually be able to, the check they receive, they'll be able to give that back to the charity of their choice.
Isn't that nice?
That is wonderful.
That's a nice touch, and that's what the sponsorships help us with. The checks that we write. Makes a huge difference there.
Will they make the announcement on the spot of the charities? Is that right? Even better, of course.
We hope so.
That's wonderful.
That means we'll have to let them know a little bit in advance.
Yeah, a teensy bit. Make sure they're there, and of course the ability for them, as you said, with all the members of AFP, of the Association of Fundraising Professionals locally, having some of their, as you pointed out, some of their dedicated volunteers and donors with them. It'll be a great opportunity for them to see some other great charities highlighted. That's wonderful.
And get them standing up there receiving that award for the following year.
Yeah, or the year after that, or the year after that. As you said, if this has been going on 20 years, there's some chapters that have been doing it just that long, and I'm sure they've recognized a lot. Have they always represented a corporate philanthropist, an individual, and a student philanthropist?
This is our initial effort. Sometimes the award list can be very long. But we decided just to start with 3 categories. These were important to us. And individuals, because we have so many to choose from down here. The corporate, because they are so important to the overall impact of the community. And the students, because that's where our next generation is coming from.
Right. Greg, we got about 5 minutes. For a viewer who hears that word philanthropist, may not even know how to spell it, but they've heard it a lot of times. What does it take to become an outstanding philanthropist? What does that mean exactly? Just philanthropists in general, particularly the outstanding philanthropist for that day, November 15th, here locally.
No, that's a good question. All of us are givers in some sense. And we've all bought the Girl Scout cookies, or we gave to our church. But what does it mean to be truly outstanding? And that individual or that corporation or that student has not only given, but they've become involved in the project. They've seen a problem, they want to be part of the solution, so they give their time and their effort, and they get others to join with them to do that. And that takes it one step farther, Greg. That's when you're head and shoulders above. You're outstanding in what you're doing.
It's potentially a tough question, but I want to ask you that on behalf of fundraising professionals. Is there an encouragement oftentimes to get a donor or a philanthropist to more or less channel all of his or her energies into one nonprofit organization, or maybe a couple? Or is it better to continue, when you see folks supporting lots of nonprofit organizations, to have them do that? I mean, I'm sure some persons would love to just focus on one and really make a difference in the one that has impacted either them personally or their family members or a loved one's lives. But so oftentimes, as you said, if you're given to 11 on average, some people given to 18, some to 6. It is...
How do you focus them? The donor makes that decision, Greg. That's where their passion is. Obviously, we want to encourage it across the board. One of the things we do in plan giving is just make people aware of how you can donate your assets after your death. And that doesn't have to be just to one charity. That can be to 2 or 3. The idea is, though, to keep it working, make your life more significant, make a difference even when you're not here. But sure, we'd all love to have those donors who just want to be our donors, but we usually find that the donor has, because they are charitably minded, they're going to pick more than one. And that's fine. That's fine.
How about finding student philanthropists? How are you all going about doing that, since you've got about 10 weeks left? Have you more or less nailed some of those down or narrowed some of those down, Greg?
Sandra Cole is our point guard on that. She is going to the colleges in the community and finding recommendations from counselors. But it's also an easy thing to look at some of the Eagle Scout projects that have been going on.
Great.
That's philanthropy. So I think that will be a classification that will have lots of candidates.
I bet. You think not only of all the colleges and universities here locally, but as you said, some of the high school and even younger students. That covers a wide swath.
A
very wide swath. And then obviously the individual philanthropists. When you think about the corporate philanthropists, to focus on area companies that are making a big difference.
And they have. I just recently saw where BB&T gave the Waccamaw Community Foundation $1 million.
Yes.
Wow, that's an impact.
Absolutely. And Mike Gerald, who's been so active with Coastal Federal, formerly now BB&T, and the Waccamaw Community Foundation, that entire group, Jonathan, I'm sure, is thrilled. And all the folks that support WCF.
Yeah.
Great group. You know, when you think about it for yourself, Gregg, wrapping around and supporting one or a couple of different, being involved as an administrator in hospitals, and then going out and helping to form foundations for hospitals, what do you think drives you? What's given you that push to get so active in supporting foundations? Obviously, that's been a form of great philanthropy on your own part.
Gregg, 20 years ago when I decided it was time for me to go out and do something on my own, and I chose fundraising and really didn't have the passion for it at the time. It was more, let's support the family. But as you get involved and you see the works of people, the differences they've made, and the huge benefits that philanthropy can have, you just want to stay a part of it. You get excited, you get charged up, and you want to start giving back. This is my opportunity to give back.
Yeah. Your kids have gotten the bug from you as well, a little bit from Dad.
My kids have taught me how to be a philanthropist. Yes, they
to their charities. Yeah.
But I'm getting to the point where I'm getting ready for them to start giving back.
Yeah. Good words. That's great, Gregg. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
You're quite welcome. Thank you, Gregg.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina people with the Vice President of the Coastal Chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, Gregg Waters, coming up next. What a great to hear Gregg say we're all involved in philanthropy. We're all philanthropists of one sort or another. To hear that average of 11 different charitable groups that you're supporting every year that you may not even know. It was just so great hearing him say some of those, reminding you of the buying some Girl Scout cookies or giving to your place of worship or making a difference in the lives of others and not thinking you're serving as a philanthropist. What about being an outstanding philanthropist? Think about that. A real focus on a day as special as National Philanthropy Day coming up on Thursday, November 15th. But making a difference in a group and then getting other people involved in that group and going the extra mile and giving of your time and your resources to support that group. That's what an outstanding philanthropist is. You're doing it every day. You probably don't even think about it. There's others that recognize that, and you've got an opportunity to be highlighted. Get out there, even if you're not one of the honorees that day, to support honorees and support all philanthropists day in and day out. 235-2727. Gregg Waters. How often do we have guests that give out their home number? But also a great opportunity to go online, www.afp.org, to learn more about the Association of Fundraising Professionals. And you think about a group as small as this, just getting started, 15 or 16 folks. We've got one of them here on a Monday and another one of those 15 or 16 later this week on Thursday. Catch Carol Beaudry from Mercy Hospice will be with us on Thursday.